Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog, and as always, lest we forget, the Tenkar's Tavern Discord server and Facebook community. Now, what am I going to discuss? Well, I could discuss Blackmore, but I still haven't watched more than the first 40 fucking minutes of it. So, I will have to hold off on that. Hopefully, I'll watch it tomorrow. Can talk about it tomorrow night, maybe Wednesday night. We'll get there. I could rehash the James Raggy Lamentations of the Flame Princess ref book, because now that I'm going back to his prior updates, seeing signs of. All right, well, I'm going to be generous and say self-deception. That James was telling himself he had more progress than he actually had. I don't think James meant to be less than truthful to his backers or to himself in that situation we're at, but I'm going to dig into that a little bit deeper, get into that. There's a Patreon that I want to cover. That's one that, God forbid, I'm actually going to have to probably prepare notes for, where this individual in question is stealing art and text, and he's just basically, I guess he can't. He thinks that fair use just means if I want to use something, and I'm not making money off it. Oh, Patreon, you aren't making money off it. It's a secret. That it's fair use, and therefore he can do whatever he wants. I'm gonna again get into that, but no. What I want to cover is in less than 3 weeks, ShireCon. I believe it is in Falls Village. I should probably check that, right? Yes, Falls Village, Connecticut. It's a Saturday, September 21st. I am running a game at 1 p.m. It's sold out. I'm sorry. Last year, it sold out, and I allowed Rach to play in it to take my seat because I don't sit at cons when I'm running a game. I stand. And then somebody bitched and complained that they had no players at their game, and God forbid there was a special guest allowing their wife to play in their game and therefore occupy the 9th seat. So I just registered Rach the last open slot in my game. That being said, if you go to the con and you're looking to play in a game and I don't know, there's nothing else you want to play at 1 o'clock, you want to play in my game session, and there's a seat that you can sit in, you're going to sit in that seat. I don't turn people away at conventions. And here, I'm going to go into how I run games at conventions, okay? And specifically, in this case, I'm going to address not when I'm running with Reader Terrain, not when I'm running with a game that's set up on, a map that covers 10 by 10 that's already printed out on, 4 tablecloths or, I'm not going to go by that. I'm going to do, what do I do when I'm running more traditional theater of the mind session? Well, here's the first thing. Like I said, I don't like to turn people away. If I can find a way to fit you in and we can keep things running and rolling, I will find a way to fit you in. That being said, if I fit you in, please don't be disruptive. The last thing I want is that the person I squeeze into a session that's already, quote, full is the one that wants to be the focus of everything and therefore is detrimental to everyone else. So don't be that person, okay? Be the team player, and that's very important. Now, as a DM, I'm hoping that I have a table full of team players. Everybody's willing to share the spotlight. I know that isn't always the case, and some people will take the spotlight. I'll just redirect the spotlight when the time comes. And that's part of DM skill, especially at convention play. You can allow at your table, your neighborhood game, your game amongst your friends, you've already got this worked out. The social issues are all there, but there is an acceptance on how things are going to play out. They know how you run things. You know what they expect. You know what tickles their fancy and makes things fun for them. You don't necessarily know that at a convention game. You're getting a bunch of strangers, or maybe you'll know a handful, but you can't over rely on that. So what do? I think, personally, the most important thing to do at any game when you're running it, especially at a convention game, is pacing. You've got to keep that pacing moving. Now, I've said that before when I run games with 3D terrain or when they can see the map. I got to keep things moving because otherwise people start to metagame. I got news for you. At a convention game, you've got a limited time slot. And if your players start overthinking things, you may have a problem. Maybe they're not going to finish. If that's the case, let them play it out in their heads. Prod them, but let them play it out. But you're going to have to think, I might have to change stuff in this adventure. Which brings me up to another point. When you're running a game at a convention, you better know it. When you're running a session and you're that adventure, you better know it front to back. Now, if you wrote it, you know it front to back. Heck, if you wrote it, you can improvise within it as the game is going. They'll not know anything for the better because you know the ins and outs of it. You know how to twist it. If you're running a pre-written adventure, don't just read it once. Don't just read it twice. Read it 3 times and take notes as you're doing it. And try to figure out what can go wrong. You're not going to catch them all, but figure it out. Also figure out which scenes or which encounters can get deleted. Now, that's important because nothing sucks more as a player to be in a game at a convention and not get the opportunity to complete your goal. Don't get me wrong. You can fail at your goal and have a good time, and that's fine. But you should be able to reach it. Not saying achieve it, but you should be able to get to that final encounter or that final thing and let that play out. But to not get there sucks for the players. So as a GM, you have to be ready to say, all right, this is not pacing out the way I expected it to. What would I have to drop out ahead of time? You should be thinking about this. What do I have to drop out? And at the same time, if your group is really, holy shit, hitting everything, nothing stopping them. They're plowing through your creatures. They are figuring out your puzzles, that whatever. And you're looking at your watch and you're like, oh shit, we have 3.5 hours planned. And they're going to finish this in under 2 at this rate. Well, you should have an encounter or 2 to slow them down. You can drop in. They don't know. And hey, this is like, the Wizard of Oz shit. We're revealing what happens behind the curtains. Your players don't know. All right, they might know if you're running a pre-written adventure, but then they're dicks for playing an adventure that they already know well enough that they can call you on shit. But even if in that case, you just go, hey, I made changes before I ran it. They don't need to know that you're improvising a change or you're throwing a last-minute change that you already thought up on to slow them down, to increase their enjoyment. And now, most important thing about convention games, player enjoyment. Everybody at the table needs a chance to shine. And I'm not saying that you're going to remember what everybody is character name. Who cares? All right. What you should know, my suggestion is you have a sheet of paper which lists character, race, and class and have it set out as people are sitting around your table. You have that in front of you, or that behind your GM screen, so you can refer to it. Now, I mentioned before that I stand when I'm doing convention games. Why do I stand at convention games? Because if I'm sitting down, hiding behind a fucking screen, I am not engaging my players. Think about it. If you want your players to engage with you, you need to engage with them. You're not there to read along. This is the adventure. This is what happens. No. You are there to say, all right, the party walks into a room. It's 15 by 25 feet at the far end. Just to the right of the door, directly across from you, is a statue holding a spear. That spear appears to be pointed in your party's general direction. What do? And get them moving. Get them engaged. And if nobody speaks up right away, point to one of your players at your table. Go, you're the thief, right? You're a thief? What do you want to do with? You know what? If you didn't think any better, you would almost swear that spear that statue was holding just turned slightly to point towards you. Get them involved. And if you get them involved early in the session, you'll already have them chomping at the bit as the session goes on. They'll be in for it. Now, this is huge. I'm going to say it. Don't allow anybody to use any fucking kind of electronic dice roller at your table. I had to say it. Only happened to me once. They wanted to use their phone to roll dice. No. You roll fucking dice. We're at a table, you roll fucking dice. I usually come with extra dice. I might even, I give away something sometimes and throw a dice, I said, at a player at the end of the session. And, hey, you did great. Thank you. Or your best death in the party. Here. You got something to go home with you. Here's your prize. You want to disengage people from the electronic devices. Now, you're not going to do it completely. Some people might bring a tablet to have an easier access to the rules that you're using. It is what it is. I'm not going to freak out about that, but you don't want people on their phones. Listen, we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. But the less you have, and that way of distractions, remember, you have a distraction going on all around you. Unless you're lucky enough to be running a game in a room by yourself, you're likely to be in a room with 8 to 12 other tables. There are distractions built into convention gaming. You don't need your players coming with additional distractions. Just some thoughts on that matter. All right, folks, on that note, be safe, be well. This Hurricane Dorian is causing trouble for people throughout the northern part of the Caribbean at this point. It's tearing apart the Bahamas. It's going to be causing troubles on the East Coast, lower East Coast, Southeast. Don't be stupid, all right? Heed the advice. Get to safe ground. Yeah, it's I'm doing a public service announcement, but I saw the aftermath here in New York City of Hurricane Sandy, and these can be really, really dangerous shit. So, in any case, folks, God bless. Be safe. Roll those dice. And I will talk with you all tomorrow. Later, folks.